Now that we learned the methods on how to clean data, the last step is to deal with duplicates and missing data. Duplicate data is problematic as it can affect your analysis in undesirable ways. We can drop duplicate data with the drop duplicates method. Here's an example of a data frame with duplicate data. You can see the first and last rows are exactly the same. To drop duplicates in our data frame, we call the drop duplicates method on the data frame. You can see after we call the method, the duplicates are dropped. In this case, the last row of our original data frame was dropped. Now let's work with missing data. Here's an adapted tips data set. This data set gives the total bill and amount of tip given for the bill. It also includes other information about the sex of the table, whether there are smokers, the day of the week, the time of day, and the size of the party. You can see the NaN missing values in our data. There are a few ways you can deal with missing values. You can leave it as is, drop them, or fill using various pandas methods. Just like dropping outliers from your data, dropping missing data also needs to be carefully considered. Data can be missing randomly, or there may be a systematic problem in your data that introduce missing values. Remember, we can use the info method to get a count of NaN missing values. In our tips data, you can see we have 244 entries, but no column has that many non-null values, meaning we have missing values in each column. To drop missing values in our data frame, we use the drop NA method on the data frame. If we look at the info of our new data frame, we now only have 147 entries, and each column also has 147 entries. What we get is a data frame with only complete cases. That is, if a row contains a missing value, then the row will be dropped from the data frame. We lost about 40% of our data with this method. If we only lost a few observations, that would be reasonable. But with this many observations dropped from our data set, we need to deal with missing data differently. Keep in mind, dropping columns is also a possibility if most of the missing values are from a particular set of columns. You'll see this in the exercises. To fill missing values, we use the fill NA method. There are various ways we can fill missing values. We can fill it with a user-provided value or some summary statistic like the mean or median. We can fill any NaN missing value with a user-provided value using the fill NA method. Here, I'm recoding all the missing values within the sex column to the string missing. We can also recode missing values from multiple columns at once. To select multiple columns from a data frame, we can use the double square bracket notation. Here, I'm subsetting the numeric columns total bill and size, then recoding all the missing values in these columns to 0. You can see now, when we look at the info, total bill, size, and sex columns no longer have missing values. We can also fill missing values with a test statistic. However, we have to be careful if we want to use a test statistic like the mean to fill in missing values. You have to make sure the value you're filling in makes sense. For example, the median would be a better statistic if you have outliers. Here I'm going to fill the missing values in the tip column with the mean of the tips. We first calculate the mean using the mean method on the column. And we can replace the old column values with the new column values using the fill NA method like before. If you look at the info once more, the total bill, tip, sex, and size columns no longer have missing values in them.